Got to outwork your competition, plain and simple. The longer I'm doing this, the more I realize, put the work in. You'll absolutely, like you, I'm in early, I stay late, I do what it takes. I just feel like, and just do something to stand out.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Den. This week we have a special guest, Mike Kanoff, the owner of Michael's Jewelry, found it in Levittown from his father, and he opened up his own shop in Yardley that's done very well. His father just retired. We're going to talk today about growing his jewelry business, going through a pandemic. We're at a special location. Good friend of mine, Doug Trombino in the back, cuts my hair, cuts my children's hair. Also Matt over here, one of Doug's friends and also a partner here, cutting Michael's hair today. So let's pop off and let's get started. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing great. First off, thank you for having me. Looking forward to being here, as I'm a big fan of the show.
And it was actually Michael's ideal to have it here. He actually called me up and said, why don't we do it where we get our hair cut? I said, sounds good to me, let's go. Thanks, Doug, for letting us use your location, and thanks for making me fresh to death. We'll see what Matt does to Mike. So Michael, why don't you tell everybody about yourself real fast?
All right, so I am, as Lance said, I'm second generation jeweler. My parents started the business back in 1976 in our Fairless Hills location. They opened a second location in Richboro in 1984. As a kid, I always grew up in the business, and from the time I was 2 years old when my parents opened the store, this is what I wanted to do. Love the jewelry, love the people aspect. From day one, this is what I wanted to do, nothing else. And as I grew up in the business, I started working there part-time as a kid. Decided I liked it, and eventually went to school for it. After I graduated school, I didn't want to work with my family, so I wanted to get some outside experience. So I was a sales rep on the road for about a year. I lived in the Southeast. I traveled all around and sold jewelry wholesale to stores, which was a fantastic learning experience. Then I got a call from my father in 1997 saying, hey, they're building a shopping center in the old 5 Mile Woods in Yardley. Would you like to come home and partner up with me and open a store with me? So I thought to myself, this is a dream come true. I grew up in Yardley, and I thought this is my hometown, to be able to move home, open a store there. I thought, how do you say no to that? So with that, I resigned from my job, moved home. We opened our Yardley location in 1997, and I've been there for the last 23 years.
23 years in business, and it's not easy. I know your dad helped you out.
Yes.
But I don't care if the Pope helps you out. It's hard to start a new business.
Sure.
Talk to me about that experience, because right now everybody watching this show wants to be an entrepreneur for the most part and want to grow a business. What was that like to open a jewelry shop?
Opening it up it's challenging working with family, because a lot of times you'll have different ideas, different dreams, different aspirations, and you're not always on the same page. It's good to, on one note, I was able to piggyback my father's name, his credit, things like that. They got me going there, but it's challenging. It's something because my father's very much, fortunately we were in two separate stores, but he was always the type, he did what he did and did that well. Whereas me, I did what I did, but even when things were good, it's, hey, we got to switch it up. We got to look for the next thing. You got to be, I think, more of a forward thinker to be in business in this day and age.
Now, let's talk about that. You got 25 years around in business, right? Mm-hmm. What was been your biggest challenge in those 25 years?
I'd say this year, by far, yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, one, all right, last year was a great year in business. I was very excited. I knew my father was retiring. I worked with my mother for 23 years in the Yardley location. She retired about a year and a half ago. So I knew my father was retiring. I had big plans to roll out, and I even said all year long, 2020 is going to be our year. I'm super pumped for it, super excited. You know, now I can finally do everything we want to do, because my goal was to revamp our Fairless location and get that going, kind of like our Yardley location. Like, I wanted to remodel the store. I wanted to bring fresh merchandise in and just fresh ideas and do things, you know, more the way we do, just more for 2020, if you will. Super excited. So all of a sudden, father retires. For about a month, I had the store. I had plans to remodel, re-roll, and then all of a sudden, boom, this pandemic hits and you're shut down. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is scary. This is freaking me out. We've never been shut down before. At first I thought, all right, I don't know how long this is going to be. I could float this if it's a month. And I started thinking, well, what if it's longer than that? What if it's this? How long can I float this for? And again, it's not like I'm in business myself all these years. I kind of, in a sense, just started out. How much, cash flow do I have and what can I do? So that was the hardest part, telling the employees that, guys, you got to go on unemployment. Because I thought, we've never done something like that in the 42 years we've been in business. That was hard.
So now you're shut down. How do you pay your bills for the next 3 months?
The good thing is in the Yardley location, it's owned by a small business in a sense. I picked up the phone, I called our landlord, I said, hey, what do you want me to do about everything? And he said, just don't pay rent, don't do anything. He said, you've been here 23 years, you're a great tenant, I know everything's gonna be fine. When you open back up, we'll talk, and I know you'll take care of me. No worries. He was fantastic.
I love that guy. What's his name? Give him a shout.
His name is Wharton Hardware, which he's awesome. Great guy.
More guys like that.
Exactly. Like I couldn't ask for a better landlord. Now in the other center, they're owned by a big conglomerate. So first I emailed and I said, hey, I'm brand new here. I paid 1 month's rent. And I said, what do you want me to do? You know, we're closed. They didn't answer me for about a week. And I'm thinking, okay, I gotta pay rent. So I sent a second email out. I said, hey, my rent's due next week and I don't want to be late. Can you please tell me what you want me to do? Nobody's answered me. Big corporation, they're called Larkin. But finally, they answer me. I get this letter. I start reading it. Let's just say I was at home. I had a few glasses of wine and I'm thinking, what does this say? So I said to my wife, I'm like, do me a favor, does this say anything? Because basically it was a generic email saying, we're here to serve you, we're here to help you. It didn't say anything about paying my rent. She said, that says absolutely nothing. So with that, I wrote I replied back, listen, my rent's due next week and I don't want to be late. Please tell me what to do. Again, they didn't answer me. About 3 days later, after my rent was due, yes, we want you to pay your rent, now you're late. So I paid the rent, did what I did, and my favorite part of that story, in July, then I get an email from them saying, if you want to backdate your rent and not skip a month for July, feel free and we can pay that at the end of the year. I thought, why even bother? But long story short, everything worked itself out.
Is it amazing how the small, and not that your landlord's small, but it's amazing the community people try to help each other and these big conglomerates just shit on everyone. I mean, and right now, not to talk too much politics, but I'm a straight up guy. You saw Walmart just gave out their biggest bonuses ever this year, correct? You saw it, right? During the pandemic, all these restaurants, bars, gyms are going out of business. You had to shut down, and Walmart's giving out their biggest bonus. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And the fact they even let that go public is even worse. So let's get back to this. Now you have your jewelry, you shut down, you pay your rent, you get through it. How was business over the summertime and now? Is it back to normal?
You know what, they're coming back because when you're shut down, the things that go through your head are, who's gonna buy jewelry? Where are they wearing it? What are they doing with it? One thing about what we sell, it's luxury. So if the economy's bad, the first thing you do is you cut out jewelry. So a lot of bad things went through my head in the 2.5 months we were closed down of, are we gonna be relevant? Are we gonna be okay? When we came back, we were pleasantly surprised that the summertime was like Christmas for us. We were busy June, July, and August like I've never seen before in my life. Like, really? Business was fantastic for us. Best it's ever been in the summer. It was basically just pent-up demand. And the best part of it was constantly people coming in, we want to support you guys. You guys have been great to the community. You guys have been here. We want to buy here. You guys have always been good. And just the support from the community was amazing.
And what we found, because we talked then, in full transparency, we do your digital marketing, we've done it for years. You actually expanded your territory over into Jersey and other locations because they were shut down and you took off that.
We gained a lot of business from Jersey for that reason. And for some reason, I don't know why, we tend to draw a lot of people from Jersey. But yeah, during the pandemic, that was a huge help, that a lot of people coming in saying, hey, they're not open, you guys are, we want to come here.
So they find you online, you answer your phone. Now this is how crazy I want you to think about. This is what you got to take advantage and strike when the iron's hot. Me and Mike were talking on the phone, you called me up and said, hey Lance, I got this idea about advertising in Jersey. I'm like, sure. He's like, well, they're closed down. All of a sudden we start running AdWords. You call me up a few days later, my phone's ringing, Lance, people are coming in on the shop, driving over here from Jersey, buying shit. I mean, would you suggest that to everybody? You got to strike.
You got to strike when the iron's hot. And even when things are good, you still got to think forward of, hey, what can I do to make it better? Because whatever you're doing, it's not going to last forever. You got to move on to the next thing kind of and still think.
Because buying jewelry is like going to a dentist. You don't want to change jewelers. People just don't change it. Once you find someone you trust, you have a relationship with, do you get a lot of repeat business?
It's almost all repeat business. I mean, look, let's face it, you know, we spend a ton of money on marketing and we do that to bring new people in, but the majority of our business is repeat and referrals. That's what it's all about.
And so how did marketing change? You're 23 years now in the business. What did you do when you first opened up for marketing? Direct mail, yellow pages, what'd you do?
Newspaper, a lot of print. Like in the very beginning, that was our number one. We did, you know, magazines, newspapers, print, things like that. Direct mail was more affordable then, so I did it then.
Okay, and then what do you do now?
Right now, it's funny, we do a lot of advertising in a lot of avenues. Number one, I would say, is digital. Because the one thing about our business, which is good, because it's an intimate business where we sit down face to face with customers, after I get to know them, and usually after they buy something, I always say to them, because we want to know, spending our money, is it good or bad? How'd you get here? What brought you in here? And honestly, we hear all the time, Google. We hear, yeah.
You heard that, Google.
Googled you, you popped up, and you've got the best reviews in the area. We hear that all day long, and really, Google's where it's at. I mean, we constantly, don't get me wrong, we spend on billboards. I tried the radio this Christmas. We're doing 94.5 advertising on that. We're doing a contest with them.
Who gave you the billboard idea? Who told you it was good?
Guy sitting next to me.
There you go.
Let's face it, how did I find you?
Which one?
Well, how did I come to oneseo.com over, what have I been with you, 12 years?
Yeah, I think you actually, I don't know how you came to us. I never
Saw your billboard, and I thought to myself, I was paying somebody SEO in Texas, who they take your money, they make you sign a contract, they make you put all this money down, and they guarantee you shit. So my rankings were in the toilet, I wasn't doing well, I drive by, I see this billboard, and I thought, oh, he's in Bristol. So basically, if he's not performing, I can jump in my car and talk to him, and I like that idea. So with that, I pick up the phone, I called you. You said, why don't you come on over and we'll talk. Jumped in my car, I went over. This is when you were in a small office. I think there was maybe 6 of you at the time. So, I was one of the first oneseo.com clients. And I just thought, you and I hit it off well, being the same age, we grew up in the same area, we kind of think the same, and I thought, okay, something tells me this guy's gonna be good at what he does. But long story short, I found you from the billboards, and that's when I thought, I'm gonna start doing some billboards, see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They all work hand in hand. Most people try and silo things, and I just don't understand that. What do you like about digital marketing compared to the other parts of your marketing?
You can see exactly what you're, again, besides just asking clients, the reports I get. I'll see how my website's done, how many hits we get, how many calls, you can track everything. So you'll know you'll know your return on investment, whether it's good or bad.
What's the biggest challenge with marketing as a small business? Because a lot of small businesses out there, you're into it more than most. Like, you'll go post your own social stuff, you enjoy it. You like marketing. Most entrepreneurs don't like the marketing side of things. What do you like the most about digital marketing? What do you like the least about it? Or any marketing?
What I like about it is the challenge to bring people in, and honestly, it feels good when people say to you, who creates your billboards? Because I hear that all day long. And it's actually, I've done a few with you. You guys did some for me, but most of it is just me. Sometimes I'll sit down and think, okay, what could we do differently? What can we do new? So it's nice to hear that people appreciate your work, and it's nice to see that it actually works. And I think that's the part that, for me, makes it rewarding to see that, hey, 1, you're getting people in the store, and 2, people like your ads.
Now, I've seen you grow. I've seen your store looks beautiful now. We're actually going to put a picture of that in here so you guys can see it. The store looks beautiful now. I've seen you grow. I've seen your business keep growing. What separates you? You're always nice. I've never seen you ever be rude to anyone. That part of your customer service, because a lot of jewelers feel like they're like chefs almost. They feel like they're doing you a favor.
Yes.
So can you talk about because you have almost like the opposite. You want your mom dealing with you, you cater to them. I've seen you cater to my mom, who's, no offense, mom, you're a handful.
Oh, your mom and your sister are great. I love when they come in. I think the thing that we try to do that makes us stand out and be different was, one, when you come into our store, we're not going to be in suits. We're not going to be in ties. We want people to feel comfortable. We dress casual. Our atmosphere is casual. The one thing I said to the employees in our other store when I started working with them in our Fairless store, I said, I want you guys to do what we do, which is pretty simple. And they said, what's your formula? I said, well, 1, have fun. We meet great people all day long. We get to talk to people. We get to be on the romance side. We're meeting couples that are getting married that, you sell them an engagement ring. Then all of a sudden they're coming back, they're buying wedding bands. Then next thing you know, he's coming back and buying her a push present. So in the 23 years that I've done this, I've met so many amazing people, and that's my favorite thing about what I do. It's the personal side, and it's like I said, have fun with it. Don't make it a business. I said, have fun with it, do people right, and everything else will take care of itself.
Now, you're growing, and you're being nice to people, and customer service, I think, is important. But a lot of people could say that. What's probably the biggest thing you've done to go out of your way for somebody to say, hey, listen, I'm different? Because people will think everyone's the same. I hear every kiss begins with K, that bullshit, right? It actually begins with Miller Lite or Coors Light. I do want to bet that, but that's besides the point. Think about that. What really separates? What's the biggest thing you've ever done, customer service-wise?
I've opened the store for people. Like I had one guy that wanted to come in on a Sunday, and he said, look, I saw this in a movie. Is there any way you'd open up for me? I could bring my girlfriend in and let her pick her ring and like do something completely different. I said, I think that's amazing. I'd love to do that. I'll do things like that. I'll go out of my way and really do anything for a customer to make them happy, whatever it takes.
You know, let's talk about your employees. You got to lay them off. You're going through this, and most of your employees have been with you for a while now.
Sure, we've had employees, one guy 35 years, one person 33, one person 20, so our employees are like family. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in business.
Now, when you're doing something like that, and you know, fortunately for us, we grew through this, so when you're doing something like that, do you say to them, hey, listen, you're going to be okay, we're going to come back? Because they had to have fear you might shut down. A lot of businesses went out of business right now.
Yeah. The good thing is everybody, we were all confident in each other. When I called them and said, guys, I have to do this, they said, I completely understand. And they said to me, I'm surprised you paid us, because I did pay people when we weren't open. And they said, I'm surprised you paid us as long as you did, and we appreciate it. And we have confidence in each other, which is good. They've known, you know, when someone's worked for your family for 35 years, they know me since I'm a little kid. We just had the confidence in each other to know that our brand will pull through this. And not only that, we'll get stronger from this. I feel like every crisis we've been through, whether it's 9/11, whether it's the 2008 economy plunging, or, you know, as long as you survive these things, hopefully you learn something and it makes you stronger.
Now, you've grown, I mean, obviously you keep yourself in shape, you're good looking, you're charismatic, I get all that. When I first met you, you were only really doing, you know, some paper, SEO, you weren't doing any PPC, but now you're big into video yourself.
Yes.
Can you explain to the viewers why you think video is so important?
Because people get an up close and personal look at you, and to know that, hey, you're a real person, you're not like, you know, a corporate person, a larger than life. I want people to get to know us as a store and the employees that we are, that we're real. So.
You feel like video really can tell a story better than anything else at this point?
I feel like I want people to see our stores, see what we do, see what we're about. You don't really get a chance to see that in an ad. Say if it's a billboard or just a Facebook post. I mean, it's good to do that as they get to see your personality a little bit, but this, you're really getting to see us up close and personal.
How has social media impacted you with video?
Because I think when we post videos, and this was an accident, I think you pushed me into saying to me, hey, post a video, you'll see how good it is, let's do a professional video with you. I saw how many hits and likes and just all kinds of, and I saw business kind of go up from it, that I could see people like that, and also not everybody's doing it in our area. And that's the thing I try to do, is stand out a little bit and do things that our competitors are not doing, that they don't get.
Is it amazing to you how many people don't use video and social media today? I mean, we're going into 2021 here in a week. Are you blown away by it?
Yes, especially jewelers. I hate to say, like, because yes, you check your competition, and I'm thinking, how are these guys? Because I post something every single day on social media. It's free, it's our catalog, and honestly, I sell things from it. Like, people ask me, do I sell things online? And my answer is always no. And they say, why is that? And I'm like, because I want to do, it's not our business model. Our business model is face-to-face, seeing people, customer service, that type of stuff. I do, however, post stuff every single day, a piece of jewelry, tell a story about it, and we sell things from that. And also it generates, and how are people, it's free. How are people not taking advantage of it and doing it?
It's amazing, because you put together a campaign against one of your competitions, and I just found out about this morning, which I thought was clever. Mark's Jewelers, another local Levittown jeweler, probably was around for as long as your father, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, right. So he says, I'm shutting down because of COVID. He has more money than God, probably. No offense, Mark, but you do. His son Jim's a nice guy, by the way. But, you know, you sit there, he closes down. You immediately, with my team, start running ads for his name. You actually brought customers in.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when he closed, and the reason we found out, we started getting a spike in business in both stores. And I kept hearing, well, my jeweler closed. So, and I've always heard you guys are good, so we want to try you out. So all of a sudden, and I did hear, I knew Mark was closing this year, just because of his age. He's ready to retire, as a lot of jewelers in our area are. So I thought, all right, so everyone in our other store, they're a little older. They said to me, all right, start running print ads so we can, you know, get some business from that. And I said, I'll do that, but better yet, I'm gonna put a campaign together so when people Google him, they'll see us, and it plants a seed. And we've gotten some business definitely from that.
So, I mean, you're doing all this. What's your plans for Michael's Jewelers? You have 2 locations now. Are you gonna go to a 3rd location? You have young children. I think you have, what, 2 sons?
I have 2 daughters and a son.
2 daughters and a son.
Which none of which want to be in the jewelry business. That could change as they get older, but my son has no idea what he wants to do, and my daughter's, one wants to be a teacher, one wants to be a veterinarian.
What's your plans for Michael's Jewelry?
I definitely don't want to open up any more stores because the one challenge is, one, I got enough going on right now. I don't know how you do what you do, to be honest with you, and keep throwing more punishment at yourself. But to me, I just want to be able to grow the 2 stores that we have and make the 2 best stores that we have. I do have some plans for next year on how I want to grow and expand, because a lot of this. The fortunate thing about 2020, as bad as it was, I had plans to redo both stores, to get both stores going, and when 2020 hit, I thought, oh, this is going to wipe all my plans. I'm not going to be able to do any of that. Fortunately, we remodeled both stores. We were able to revamp. The only thing I didn't get a chance to do this year that I will absolutely do next year is put a new point of sale system in and a new software system that's going to help our business grow and get better.
You're going to have a nightmare doing that.
Absolutely, but it'll make you stronger.
No doubt. We're going to do it. Here's a question for you. You didn't go to college. You went to, I think it's called, I don't want to...
I went to the Gemological Institute of America.
Correct. But you went to college just like me and quit, and I went back, got my degrees, but you didn't. Do you feel that every kid needs his college? That's a big debate right now. Do I go, am I an entrepreneur? Do I need my college degree or don't I? Just like your take on that.
I think you should, because my biggest regret why I don't, honestly, if I had a college degree, I'd still be sitting in this chair at the same point of where I am in life right now, so I don't have any regrets from that standpoint. The biggest regret I have, education's very strong in my house. We push it very much to my kids, and it's very difficult to push my kids education-wise when they say, well, gee, Dad, you didn't go to college. For that reason alone, that's the only regret I have, that I did not go and graduate. So I do think it's important.
You know, it's funny you say that because obviously I went to college and there's a big debate right now. I agree education is important, but I think there's different types of education. I don't think college would have made you any better of a jeweler.
Absolutely not.
My biggest regret about not going to college when I was younger was, here's a true stat, Mike, you're not going to believe this. I've never hooked up with a girl during my college years from college. That's a true stat. I went to Temple all those years, and there's not one Temple Al girl that could say she ever kissed me.
Wow, this has been a good conversation. I'm like, whoa, I would not have believed that.
That's a true story. So my wife went to Penn State, had a fun time. Oh, my brother Adam, I think, hit 13 different colleges. He's a wild guy. So these guys, my brother Fred, they all went to college. They dated girls from college. They had that college experience. I think that's just good for socialization, skills, growing skills. You get to meet different people. I was too busy running a nightclub in the city for those years when I went to college. Bash nightclub, were you ever there?
What was it called?
Bash.
I was not. Where in the city was that?
6 in Spring Garden, 6 in Calvert Hill.
Okay, which is right near the bank, I guess, right?
That's right behind the bank.
Near the bank all the time back in the day.
Yeah, so it was very similar to the bank, high end. So that's where I spent my college career running that. Okay. So Mike, for every entrepreneur out there right now, young kid watching this on the final roar, what would you tell them would be the biggest piece of business advice they need to be successful?
Well, one, you got to outwork your competition, plain and simple. The longer I'm doing this, the more I realize, put the work in. You'll absolutely, like you, I'm in early, I stay late, I do what it takes. I just feel like, and just do something to stand out and try to find yourself unique, be the best version of yourself, but also find a niche in whatever business you want to be in and just try to do something a little different than everybody else.
Here's a question for you. You said that, and we have this conversation all the time. I tell Carly, I'm going to use you, Carly. Say hi, Carly. I say to Carly all the time, do you want to be a multimillionaire? What's your answer, Carly?
Yeah.
Then I say, I'm going to give you the 10 things you got to do every day and just follow them. You'll be a multimillionaire inside of 3 to 5 years. What do you say, Carly?
Lance, why are you calling me out right now?
What do you say? Be honest, Carly. I'm not calling you out. What do you say?
Probably not.
So, and the reason why I truly believe this, and Carly's a great employee, she works hard and she does everything, is do you think social media for the younger generation has taken that I can get rich fast? I mean, you see the Kardashians, you see, what's the name of the TikTok girl, Carly?
Charli D'Amelio.
She's a multimillionaire, right?
Yeah, she's 16.
She's 16-year-old girl, multimillionaire, and all she does is shake her ass on pretty much TikTok, right? Do you think that skewed the younger generation, that you don't have to work as hard to be an entrepreneur?
I'm going to answer that part and say yes, because my son is a big YouTuber, and he tells me all the time, this guy's got a Lambo, this guy's got a Paddock, this guy's got a Richard Mille. I'm thinking, well, one, you're 14, as in my son. I'm like, how do you know what all this shit is?
I was just going to ask that question myself.
Because he's not hearing it from me. Because one thing, I tell my son all the time, I'm like, dude, I am where I am because I work my freaking ass off. I said, if you look at all your friends and their parents, one, they've kind of dialed it back. Because when you're in your mid-40s, you're supposed to dial it back a little bit and enjoy family time more, whereas me, opposite. I've ramped it up. I work more hours now than I ever did. I said, so go to school, work hard, get a good degree, make something yourself so you don't have to work as hard as I do. But I do make it clear to them, if you want to do well and you want to be successful no matter what you do, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to put the hours in because it's not for everybody, whatever it is.
Do you think social media, like the Kardashians, I'm going to go back to the Kardashians. What's the girl's name again? Charlie D'Amelio. Give me a few other ones out there just making what's the guy that just boxed, made all that money?
YouTube guy. I was just going to Jake whatever. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jake Paul.
yeah, what's he bring to the table? What's he bring to the table? And we did his net worth. What was it, $8 million or something like that? Like $8 million net worth. This guy's on YouTube, and he's playing a basketball player.
I mean, that's the thing. It's crazy. And not only that, kids today can play video games in their basement and make money. I had a customer tell me, all right, so I had a customer tell me, true story, their son played some kind of Fortnite game. The video went viral, and all of a sudden they get a check from Google for $8,000, which the parents thought was a scam. They're like, you can't cash this is a scam. It turns out it was legit. Now here's a kid, I think he's 15 years old, local kid in Yardley, he made 50 grand last year playing video games and people watching his video that went viral.
So just think about that. You're working probably average, I'm going to say 12 hours a day.
Yes.
Okay, that's just the reality of it, right? If you're not with your children, people don't realize when you own a business, from the time you wake up, your phone starts popping off, you're working nonstop. That's besides the point. Now you got a kid making 15 years old, 60 grand a year, 50 grand a year, playing, what's it called, Fortnite? Okay, Fortnite, never heard of this dumb shit, but whatever. So now this kid, how do you go tell him to go to college and get a real job? He's gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, because that's the problem. They're going to look at the YouTube kids that, and also there's some of these families that are on YouTube that my kids watch that they just do their everyday shit, the kids and the parents, and they get money for that. And mom and dad don't have to work. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing grinding, busting my ass, going to work, putting up with the shit I put up with? Why can't I just be this guy? Forget what the guy's name is. He wears a backwards ball cap all day long and just goes to the supermarket and takes his kids fun places before all the pandemic happened.
So we got a guy in our office, Kairos, and he has...
I've never met Kairos, but I love you, Kairos. You do fantastic social media work.
He's energetic as shit, this guy. Good looking too. Very good looking guy, charismatic. He literally makes money off of TikTok, reviewing. Larley, what's he review? What's the name of the show?
Gilmore Girls?
Gilmore. I never heard of this shit either. I mean, people have too much time on their hands. He makes money reviewing Gilmore. And that's all. He makes a few $1,000s a month, right, Larley?
I think so.
Casey, a few $1,000s a month? A few $1,000s. So how do you go say to a guy like Kairos not to go take that serious and just, I'd be reviewing Gilmore Girls all day long. He's going to probably make $10,000 a month in the next year or two.
That's crazy.
He does like an episode a day.
Episode a day.
Wow.
So my advice, I'm kind of with you. Why it's going to be very hard for you to make it in that. 'Cause I'm assuming more people fail at that than make it at this point. Laura Lee, Casey, right? So you might want to take the 10 golden rules and start working 12 hours a day if you want to be an entrepreneur.
And also, what you and I do, it's not for everybody. I tell my son that all the time. If it was, everybody would do it.
Thank you for being on the show, Michael. Great guy, great family man, great community person. I also want to thank Doug and Matt for letting us use their shop. Just so everyone knows, it's very hard for me to breathe with a mask. I want to address that. There's actually a person coming in to clean Doug's whole barbershop and wipe it down. ALC cleaning, Gino. He'll be here in about an hour, and he has diffumer that will clean this whole place out, so you don't have to worry about that. So thank you, Doug and Matt. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to follow me at Lance Bachmann on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at Lance Bachmann Digital. And every Thursday we drop a new podcast. Don't forget to listen to it. We're giving out great content. And remember this is the time to build your business right now. Let's effing go, everybody.